Darkness falls across the land. The midnight hour is close at hand. Creatures crawl in search of blood to terrorize your neighborhood. Now pray for the soul of this explorer. It's time for 31 days of horror. Who can take a rainbow, wrap it in a sigh, soak it in the sun and make a groovy lemon pie? The Candyman, oh, the Candyman can. Oh, the Candyman can, 'cause he mixes it with love and makes the world taste good. Hi there, Terence McGuana here, and welcome back to the 31 Days of Horror, where we're going to be discussing the 2021 film The Seaman. Yeah, The Seaman. That's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about Seaman. Yeah, I might look like another dumb white person that's going to get slaughtered any minute, but I know not to say that name 5 times into a mirror, okay? But singing it? Does singing it count? I've seen so many of these movies and I don't remember anyone getting slaughtered for singing his name. Maybe I'll be the first one, eh? Let's hope so. Now, funnily enough, this movie was supposed to come out in June of 2020 and absolutely could not wait to see this. I first became familiar with The Seaman way back in 1992 when the film, 1993 to be exact, when it first got released here in the UK. And I remember it being on Film 93 with Barry Norman. Remember them talking about this film, The Seaman, and I just thought, what a goofy name for a horror film. Why would anybody be scared of this? You know, it's like being scared of like Teddy Ruxpin. Although, come to think about it, Teddy Ruxpin was pretty creepy looking, right? But when this movie came out, I just had no expectations for it to be any good at all. And a few months later, after its theatrical release, it really got me. I saw it on videotape, and it was such a terrific horror film that really holds up today. You know, to watch the original now, you're still blown away by the terrific performances by Virginia Madsen and Tony Todd, and just some of the great cinematography, and just a wonderful deep storyline. This 2021 version of The Seaman takes place in the Cabrini Green housing project, the same location where we found the Seaman in the original film back in 1992. Our main character is Anthony McCoy, a struggling African-American artist who is persuaded by his manager to find something a little bit more edgy in his work because his work has become stale in their mind. And so he becomes interested in the urban legend of the Seaman when he meets this character, William Burke, who works in a laundromat, who gives him all this information about this mysterious urban legend. And as the story progresses, Anthony becomes more drawn into it, more obsessed with this mysterious character, and then some vicious, violent killings start to happen in the Cabrini Green area and in the art world. This is the first film that I've seen in the cinema since the last Star Wars film in 2019, Revenge of the Stupid or whatever it was called. I was really looking forward to this one. I was really looking forward to seeing Candyman. Just said it. Right, The Seaman. Yeah, I was really looking forward to The Seaman, and what I would say is that it didn't disappoint. The one thing, the movie began and it came up with a 15 certificate, and my eyes rolled back in my head. A 15 certificate for The Seaman. If anyone is not familiar with the rating system in the UK, a 15 is almost like a PG-13, right? So seeing a 15 certificate appear before this movie begins, I was like, oh no, this is going to be so tame. And to be fair, the film didn't have as much kills as I was expecting. Not that I don't really value films on that ground. I don't go, oh, there's a lot of good killings in that one. There's a lot of good killings, yeah, a lot of blood and gore. You know, that doesn't really bother me, to be honest. I want a good story. That's all I care about. I want characters that I can invest in. If the whole cast gets slaughterized, that really doesn't appeal to me. But I was kind of thinking, this isn't going to be that scary. At 15, they're not really going to bring out the scares. And to be fair, I was quite right. This version of this story does lack terror. It really lacks a lot of sort of real scary moments. And That's fine. It's fine because the story was much more engaging. This is a really good story, and I love the way that it incorporated this sort of shadow puppet animation throughout it. Which as soon as I saw this in the advertisements, it made me think of the very first animated feature film. A lot of people attribute that to Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, but they're entirely mistaken. The very first animated feature film was The Adventures of Prince Ahmed, which came out in the 1920s, whereas Snow White came out in the late 30s. So, you know, get your facts right. That was the very first animated feature film, and looking at The Seaman, it made me think this Nia DaCosta, this director, and along with Jordan Peele as the executive producer and co-screenwriter, they're really showing their film literacy here. You know, I'm not sure if that is their main inspiration for the shadow puppets, but it really brought that to the forefront of my mind in the advertising and when I saw the finished film. Another thing that I just found really good about it was just the cinematography. You know, it's such a breath of fresh air to see cinematography on the big screen where it's not got all this colour correction, all this colour timing. I'm not saying that they haven't colour timed some of the shots in this, they haven't done some After Effects to create the mood of the scene, but it looked like it was shot by a cinematographer who knew what he was doing, or she knew what she was doing. And there's a particular shot in it that actually I thought it was breathtaking. It was absolutely breathtaking, where this person is killed and it's outside of this giant apartment building, and we're outside of it seeing this person being killed by some invisible entity. That was just a breathtaking shot, and I almost jumped out of my seat and applauded, which was really strange because I could have and nobody would have batted an eye. The cinema was absolutely empty on a Friday night here in Scotland, which I'd never experienced in my entire life. The coronavirus has just made the cinema experience just as frightening as watching a horror film, to be honest. Another thing I really loved about it was the sound design. Maybe it's because I haven't heard surround sound in such a long time, but I found the sound design in this film exquisite, really exquisite. And what can I say about our leading man here? This actor, Yahya Abdul-Mateen II, I don't think I've seen him put in a bad performance yet. There are a few films that I've yet to check out of his, but the ones that come to mind, you know, Aquaman, right? I know Aquaman's a load of nonsense, right? It knows it's nonsense, it knows it's a big pile of nonsense. That's why I enjoy Aquaman. I think it's a good fun film. And his character in it, the Black Manta, he was a good laugh. I thought that character was a good laugh, and you know, real tongue-in-cheek kind of performance there. Also loved him as Dr. Manhattan in the sequel television series The Watchmen, which was pretty decent. Had its moments where it kind of fell apart for me, but as you know, as a continuing story, and all the cast in it were terrific. But he is absolutely brilliant in this, as he's almost like the replacement for Virginia Madsen's Helen Lyle character, and he's perfect. It doesn't follow the same sort of story as the original Seaman, because in this I think what was quite interesting about it was about the whole, you know, maybe him being out of step with his African American roots, right? This character is surrounded by white people all the time in the art world who are telling him what is right and what's wrong, what is black and what's not. And at the same time, when he goes to find real urban blackness, it's not what people want. They don't want to bring back Candyman. Oh, better not say that again. How many times is that? I don't know, I can't count. They don't want to bring this character back, right? You don't want to bring this character back because he's going to cause some damage, you know, he's going to split you from your groin to your gullet, you know, and things like that. So you don't want to bring this character back. And yeah, it was absolutely fantastic. But don't expect to be terrified by this movie, right? It's really not that scary. The original 1992 version, that's got it in spades. You know, being able to finally see a film in the cinema and something as enjoyable as The Candyman. Oh dear. I would also, right. Okay, I'm gonna die, right? Okay, we're all gonna die at some point, you know? Who cares? Seaman or Candyman, who cares, right? I'm not going to stand here and act like a big wimp, you know? It's time to puff out my chest and take on the world. No, I would really recommend Candyman. I do find it a very enjoyable movie. It's not as good as the original 1993, but not many films are, to be honest, right? And we shouldn't be holding it up against that. It is its own animal. It does have a different story to tell, and it also has different subtext. I would say. I think it kind of explores the sort of the African American relationship with the art world. There's definitely something there about how can you be a true black man in the art world when you're surrounded by all these white people telling you what to do. That it's really it just kind of seems like corporate interference to me. It doesn't feel like art. It feels like complete, this like cookie cutter nonsense that these people are after. Now, if you like this video, please give us a thumbs up. If you don't like the video, give us a thumbs down. And if you want to subscribe to the channel, hit the subscription button. I'll be back tomorrow night. I'm Terence McGuana, and we'll talk about some other horror films, okay? Thanks for watching. Good night. Bye-bye. Candyman, 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 Candyman.